Hi, it's John. I'm in my guitar garage, and today I'm going to be creating a preset that is in the style of Allan Holdsworth. I recently saw someone asking about fusion presets in the Fender Tone Master Pro Facebook group and thought, well, who better to try and create a preset for than the master of fusion himself, Allan Holdsworth. I don't know a lot about Allan Holdsworth, but I know that a lot of my guitar heroes have cited him as one of their biggest influences. His music is very technical, his playing equally so, his legato technique is off the charts. There's no way I can do what I normally do with a preset video and play along to his music and then break down how I got the tones. So I'm going to try something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is take you along the journey of creating the preset. So I won't be playing along to any backing tracks this time, but I will make the preset available for you. Okay, let's jump into my approximation of an Allan Holdsworth tone. I'm using my Sir S4. This has an SH16 Seymour Duncan humbucker. I've only ever really seen Allan Holdsworth videos where he's using a headless guitar with a single humbucker, so I'm not going to use any other pickups for this demo. Okay, I've got a blank slate. I've already saved it as JGG HOLDSWORTH, so let's jump in and start adding some things to it. So, where do we start? So I watched a video on YouTube of a guy making a Holdsworth style tone. He was using an old Yamaha amp. He had some old vintage gear, including an old Boss SD1, an old compressor, and some old tape echoes. So what I'm going to do is start with a clean amp. I'm going to go with an amp head rather than a combo because I want to split the cabs and use different mics. So I'm going to go with a 65 twin reverb amp only, see how we do with this. Obviously with a clean amp you could also go with the Roland JC120, but let's see how this goes. I'm also going to add cabs straight away. I'll go to cabinets and I will add I'll add the 2x12 65 twin. Okay, as I said, I'm going to add two because I want to use two different mics. So go into Instrument, Instrument Parallel 1, click Confirm, drag the first cab to the top there, add a block, and we'll go into Cabinets, and I'm going to add another 212 65 twin. Okay, so without touching anything, the bass tone sounds like this. All right. Let's go into the amp settings now. I think I'm going to push the volume up a little bit. I have the amp level currently 28%. I might mess with that later. In the video that I was watching, the suggestion was to have the treble at 2, the bass at 1, and the middle at 7. I've pushed the volume up to 7 as well. So I don't want these set up as two SM57s, that defeats the whole object for me. I'm going to start with, let's say, a condenser, and we'll put that, I don't know, 3 inches off the cap, change this high cut filter all the way down to 5. Might leave, I'll reduce the low cut filter a little bit, I'm going to say 105. Then I'm going to go into this cab. Let's try an MD421 instead of the SM57. I'll leave it where it is. The high cut, again, I like it to be quite low, and for a Holdsworth tone, in my head at least, a Holdsworth tone is a very smooth tone with no real sort of high end at all to it, although there are different tones obviously that is used over the years. So I'll save that and start with these settings. Very quiet at the moment, so we will bump that up in a second. So let's start adding some different effects. First one that was a suggestion was the superdrive. So based on the old Boss pedal. Okay, so with the default settings, let's play around with this pedal then. So I'm going to whack the level up to 100%, and I'm going to reduce the drive a bit and maybe just reduce the tone a bit just to smooth it out. So Holdsworth used to use a lot of hammer-ons, and to do that and make those sort of be more accentuated, apparently he used a compressor. So I'm going to try using a compressor at the very start of the chain. And I want something simple, so I'm going to choose the sustain and see how we go with that. Sensitivity and output are at the default 50%. So now I'm just going to reduce that sensitivity a little bit, maybe just bump the output a little bit. All right, that's sounding a little bit muddy. I might change this condenser mic out for, let's try an RE20, and I'm going to put it on the cap. Maybe reduce the low cut filter, add a bit more bass frequencies into it. I think that's a little bit better. I might move this mic back just to see if that changes. Oh, that's better. Okay, that's sounding better, but sounding very dry. So I'm going to add a delay. I'm going to go with the tape echo. So the video I watched earlier had 2 delays set up. I'm going to do that too, so you can have that sort of kind of a ping pong effect. So I will add a second, not stereo, a second tape echo. So I'll bypass the second delay while I set up the first. And in the first one, I want the delay time to be quite short. I'm going to try, let's say, 250 milliseconds. Don't want much feedback. Let's try 20. And I want the mix to be quite low as well. Okay, so I'll bypass the first tape echo and now I'm going to edit the second. So this one I'm going to set at around 450 milliseconds. Leave the feedback at 25. I'll lower the mix again. All right, let's turn on the first. So the last effect that I'm going to use to this chain is an EQ pedal. So going to Effects, Dynamics and EQ, I'm going to scroll down to the EQ7. I'm going to make a little bit of a hump in the mids and sort of take it from there. Let's start by taking a little bit of bass out and then we'll start boosting these mid frequencies. So low mids, I don't know, we'll start around here, 1.7. 2.2 or something like that, a little bit more, and see what that sounds like. I can't play Fusion, I can't play like Holdsworth. Apologies for my playing. That's why I haven't done a demo at the start of the video. I can't play like him, sorry, just can't. What I could do is some basic Satriani-esque legato licks. Okay, so that sounds pretty good to me. What you can play around with, depending on your guitar obviously, is you can try cutting out a lot more top end. If you like a more percussive sound, raise the 6.4K band a little bit higher. Now I think that sounds pretty good, but you can also mess around with the mic placement. So just let's take the MD421. We've got both mics obviously working, but to move that somewhere, let's say the cap edge, compared to say the cone. Let's move it somewhere else. You could play around with all the mics, find out which combination you like best. I think actually it sounds quite nice with that condenser there. And we have the RE20. Let's move that in a little bit closer, see what that sounds like. So after playing around with this for a little while, I actually think I need a little bit more drive. I'm going to push this up to 45%. And this is particular to my guitar, so if you have higher output pickups, you might need it a little bit lower. So there you go, that's my Allan Holdsworth tone, and it's kind of what's in my head rather than what's on a record. I haven't done a demo because I can't play like him, I can't play along to any of his tracks. He is like some kind of alien to me. I don't know how he plays like he does. I need to study him more, I need to understand it more. I don't think I'll ever be able to play it, I don't think I can play along to any of his music. It's way too technical and it's just beyond what I understand. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please subscribe, please hit the like button, and if you want the preset, it is available to download from johnsguitargarage.store. There is a small price, so if you don't want to pay, just follow along with the tutorial that I just did, and you can just do that for free. See you in the next video.